Welcome back to the Retro Wave. I am your host, El Tiburon, aka Retro Tiburon, on all the social medias, and this month we're talking our favorite spooky video games from 2000 to 2009. But first, let me introduce my guest, a first timer here on the Retro Wave podcast, a buddy, a fellow YouTuber, my buddy Stark from the Sanctum Starktorum YouTube channel. Happy to have you here, Stark.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man.
I'm super excited to be here. I sorry, I watch your stuff all the time, and like it's always cool to see you pick your mind about things and like different horror movies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. This was a long time coming. I was like, I gotta get Stark on my podcast, and I watch your live streams. You're a big fan of spooky movies, but spooky games too, and you play a lot of spooky games I've never seen, like a lot of PC stuff. So I'm like, I gotta when I do this episode,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have Stark on because last year I did one, and without me intending it, it became a favorites retro spooky game podcast. It's just all the picks were 80s and 90s, so I was like, you know what, we got to do 2000 to 2009 now. But before we get to the list, why don't you tell the people what you do on your YouTube channel?
So, like you said, we play not just horror games, but games that some people don't realize or recognize. Some that may be lost to time. The sanctum doors when they open, you never know what's going to come out. It could be something horror, it could be something macabre, it could be something just out there. Um, we also do a uh, a radio show which Tiburon was a part of. We're trying to bring back the old spooky mystery radio programs, and we will be introducing some new things to come, some art projects coming, as well as some cryptid story times that one of the members of the Sanctum is going to be introducing us to.
Yeah, very cool. And again, Sanctum Starktorum on YouTube. Check them out. Yeah, those radio dramas. I'm not super familiar with them, but I have a buddy, John Weber and Joe Townsend, that I've been on their YouTube channel, and they'll play like War of the Worlds, and they had used to have a show called Haunted Radio from Space, and I kind of got a kick out of listening to that stuff, even though I didn't grow up with that stuff, obviously, because you know that was what was that, 40s, 50s. I don't know if did it trickle into the 60s. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
so I didn't grow up with that stuff, but I was like, I would have been like all over this if I was around during the 50s or the 40s. So it's really cool that you're like not
And see that's
that you're doing
sorry.
that.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I think what makes these so wonderful is your mind fills in the scenario, right? So we tell you the story, it's up to you to visualize what's being said.
Yeah, I always say that what you don't see is sometimes the scariest. That's the scariest part sometimes. Your
Exactly.
imagination. That back when we used to have imaginations and we didn't have smartphones. Starkey plug. So let me ask you this. So like I said last year, I did retro spooky games, favorite retro spooky games. This year we're going 2000 to 2009. Your horror gaming, did it start here in the 2000s? Did it start in the 80s or in the 90s?
My horror gaming started in the 90s, and funny enough, Friday 13th was probably the first horror game I'd ever played. Me and my sister would divide up the counselors. I think there's six total. You've been playing it, right, on your channel? I believe
Yeah,
I saw you
it
play it.
Zombie JLT tried help me. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah. And so we would you know divide the characters up and play. Which, funny enough, in college, every Friday 13th, we would go to the lunchroom, the sub area, and put it on their big TV. And what we would do is all my friends, each one could be a counselor. If your counselor's dead, then you don't get to play. If you live, you get to continue to the next night. So it'd be something that we would have a little fun pass the controller doing.
Did you ever beat that game? Man, that game is tough.
I did, but
Jeez,
I
man.
cheesed it. I have not beat it.
What do you mean you cheesed it? How do you
So
cheese that game?
you can make the torch appear early in the game, and if you can get enough, you can pass it to the next counselor. So all of them have torches, and it makes Jason die that much quicker.
Yes, zombie helped me, get the torch pretty early on. I'm still dying. I'm still dying. It's
Oh
like
no!
I got to day number 2, but I think I had
Hmm.
like 2 counselors left, and then he the jump from like day 1 to day 2, like Jason speed, is so drastic. I was like, maybe next
Yes,
year I'll give it another shot.
the key is to when he meets you on the road to make him keep spawning, and if you keep throwing the torch will sit there and constantly damage him a lot quicker than the Mike Tyson punch out section.
Yeah, that's what Zombie was telling me. He's like, you wanna find
Mm,
him on the road. You wanna keep making him spawn on the road, and you just keep hitting him with the torch. So maybe next
hmm.
year, because sometimes we can get stuck on games, and then we
Yeah.
just don't move on. I'm like, okay, let me put a little bookmark on this one. I'll come back next year. I beat it one day. I'll take that as a small victory for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank our 5 favorite horror spooky games from 2000 to 2009. But we always got to pay the sponsors first, Starkey Plug. So we're gonna take a
Ooh.
quick commercial break. Come right back and rank our favorite spooky games.
That scary sound, the goblins on the prowl. All the ghosts and goblins coming out tonight.
Halloween munchkins from Dunkin' Donuts. Grab some, if you can.
Scary sight.
Some spooky donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. What's your go-to donut?
Ooh.
Are you a donut guy?
I used to be before I got diabetes, but I used to love a chocolate glazed with nuts on top.
Ah, very nice. I'm a
So it's
maple bar guy.
oh, that sounds good too.
Yeah, good old maple bar. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna rank our 5 favorite video games from 2000 to 2009. I said spooky, so whatever you interpreted that, like what spooky is for you, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that scares you. It just has to have some spooky elements. Um,
There you go.
so we're gonna go from number 5 to number 1, and yeah, we'll just talk. Some. I guess this is almost considered almost. I would consider this almost retro. I know some people are very against anything past anything past 99 being retro, but it feels like it's half a lifetime ago for me. It feels
Hmm.
old, early
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah.
What what do you think? Do you think this is retro, early 2000s?
I feel like it has become because the PlayStation has come out with the PlayStation Classic, and for the longest, I was in that kind of mindset too. No, Classic is Sega Genesis, Nintendo, right? But now we've entered a new era of gaming where the things we grew up with, in our I guess teens and up, is now becoming classic and retro. So I guess I would have to say that it is retro gaming.
Yeah, glad you agree. All right, so let's check out. We're gonna go. I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go first. So I'm gonna show off my number 5 pick here. We're gonna watch a little video on what I got.
From hell. Once you've looked into the face of fear, you can't look back.
Resident Evil 5.
Rated M for mature.
So I've got Resident Evil 5 at my number 5 pick. Man, not the scariest of the Resident Evil games, but definitely one of the most fun ones. One of the most memorable ones for me. I played this with Killer, my buddy Killer, for the first time on the 360. And man, what a blast playing this game with Chris Redfield. And I forgot the girl's name. What's the girl's name? I know it's not a Jill. Remember? Zendaya
Sheba.
or something? Sheba, there you go. That was close enough. Zendaya. Yeah, but like super fun. Just like cracking up playing this game. I remember when you're battling that chainsaw guy, the Leatherface guy in the first stage, and just seeing my friend do like the freaking guile flash kick on the chainsaw dude, and I was like, oh man, this is not. See, because I skipped Resident Evil 4. I played 1. I beat 1. I played a lot of 2. I never beat it. 3, I only played a little bit, dabbled in it. But those were like straight horror. Those were like survival horror. I skipped 4, but from what I've seen and heard, 4 is more action-y, right? And this one took it up a notch on the action. So this one was just, I thought it was a blast. Yeah, have you ever played this one?
Oh yeah, I have almost gotten all the achievements on this one. Um, you know, but story wise, yeah, this is a great Resident Evil. It kind of shows the beginnings of what became of the T virus from Resident Evil 1, so it was a nice little tie-in.
Yeah, and you can see there we're sharing the screen. You can see Borat Zagadiev with the shovel over there. We always call that guy Borat. He goes, Borat zombie. I always thought he looked like Borat or Baba Booey from the Howard Stern show. Yeah, but man, it's a fun one. I think this is a game I've beaten like 3 times. Yeah, I've beaten this one on, I think on the 360 maybe once or twice. And then I beat it on the Series X or Xbox One when they ported it over. It's just a fun time. I think anything co-op, to me, in my opinion, co-op is always more fun than single player.
Mm-hmm.
You agree, Starky Plug?
I agree with you. Oh yeah, most definitely. And the replay value for me too is, you can unlock certain weapons like unlimited ammo and certain weapons by beating it within a certain time, getting special little medallions throughout it, and it just makes it more fun because, I mean, spoilers, at the end you fight Wesker, and I had the unlimited rocket launcher, and I said, "You're not going to get to me, sorry, bub."
You fight him like when he's like mutating, right? And you're like on a volcano or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing
that
I'm
boulder.
not a fan of, and I don't know if Ty Lord's hearing this. He might turn off the podcast right after this. Not a fan of tank controls. Not a fan of not being able to walk and shoot, which this one still had, but I didn't mind it. I mean, I was just like, I don't mind. It's still fun. What about you? Give me your thoughts on tank controls.
Oh, I absolutely hate tank controls, but I will play them. I got used to them, but I absolutely hate them. Sorry.
Tyler's always like, I don't know what I heard him on like Turbo Zone. This guy Turbo Zone, and they were talking about ideas on how to improve a game. And Tyler's idea of improving that game was bringing back tank controls. And I was like, so your idea of improving the game is making it worse? Yeah. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler. All right. Sorry, pal. Yes, that's my number 5 pick, man. Not a scary one, but man, so fun. I could play this. If you were to tell me, hey, let's play this week, I'm down. This is a fun time. A lot of good laughs too. All right, let's check out. Go ahead. Sorry, Stark.
You say it's not scary. Sorry. You said it's not scary, but I'm telling you, that opening scene towards you, when you don't, all you have is it can get kind of, spooky.
The horde of Borats and all those other zombies. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you pop off their head and then like that, whatever that like thing starts coming out like that. Is that the T virus mutation? You there, Stark?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I lost you. All right, now we're gonna check out Stark's number 5 pick. Let's check out the video first. See what Stark has.
Corner. Behind every door. Deep in every shadow. Terror waits. Evil returns to the PlayStation 2. Resident Evil Outbreak. Rated M for mature. Only from Capcom.
So tell us. Whoops. So, technical difficulties, pals. Hold on. Keep pushing the wrong button. We're live, pal. Hold on. Let me push the We're live, pal. Hold on.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
I tell you what, Starky Plug. Anytime I do a podcast or any video, there's always technical difficulties. Don't you hate it?
Hey, it happens. It happens, man.
It's at number 5. You got Resident Evil Outbreak. I've never played this one. Tell me about this one.
So this is one of those lost games that you either knew about or it's like you said, one that kind of slipped under the radar. So this is more of the same night in Resident Evil 2 and 3. So Resident Evil 2 and 3 take place at the same time. But one thing I've always wondered is what happened to the rest of the townspeople, right? Like what was going on that night? And so they give you scenarios that kind of show what else happened. And so like what you said, multiplayer makes a game fun, right? This is your first Resident Evil with multiplayer.
This is co-op?
And
Damn.
that can make or break the game.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
It's multiplayer.
You know what? I've seen this one at like yard sales and stuff. I always thought it was a light gun game because it has like a gun on the cover.
There are light gun Resident Evils, but this one was you don't have to play co-op. You can play with AI, but they can be kind of stupid sometimes, unfortunately. But there are different endings to this, so your whole team might not survive. In Resident Evil Outbreak 2, they added this little feature, and I think you're gonna love this. You're infected with the T virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it hits 100%, you die and you become a zombie and you can attack your friends.
Oh shit! You can get the double cross. You can turn heel on them.
Yeah, you can double cross them. Like, but it's fun, especially with people who's never played it before. The one thing that killed the game though is speedrunners. People know where everything is, so they'll just take off without you. But you have to do certain things to slow down the zombies, or they will overwhelm you if you're not careful. And so it takes what makes Resident Evil 3 scary, where zombies can come in like multiples, instead of like a hallway that might have one or two, and then like they'll break down the door to get to you, and it gets super creepy.
So what we're watching right here, for the audio listeners, we're watching some gameplay, and I see like a little girl with a backpack, and I don't know if that's a Mulder from the X-Files. Who's that dude with the girl with the backpack?
So the funny thing about the girl with the backpack is so I guess let me say this. Who you pick matters, right? So different characters from the scenarios have different abilities. So what you see right there, the girl with the backpack, spoilers, she works for Umbrella. a key card that gets her into doors, or might get the key card later. Then there's the police officer who works for. There should be somebody who works at one of the bars. If I remember correctly, the guy that you just saw that looks like Mulder, he can take different weapons and kind of put them together with like duct tape and stuff. So, like right before Dead Rising 3, this. But definitely, it's if you can play. Unfortunately, they shut down the servers, but you can get a like a Chinese Japanese copy of it and play on their servers. Their servers are still up.
Oh, that's
but our
crazy.
servers are not.
Because this is PS2, right? Just we haven't been saying the consoles, but this is a PS. You're choosing this for the PS2.
Mm-hmm. PS2 in 2004, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. When I think PS2, I never think
it was an innovative game.
Yeah, I never think of like online outside of like the SOCOM Navy SEALs games. But yeah, I mean PS2 had online too. It had that adapter.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to be on the lookout for this because there's like, I think co-op games are the most fun I have playing co-op game. So especially when you mix the horror, I got to check this one out. This one's going to be on my radar.
Okay.
Very cool. All right, we're going to go now. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's in the mainline Resident Evil universe too. So like, if you're a fan of the story, this just kind of lengthens it a little bit.
And you said this is happening in between 1 and 2? Resident Evil 1 and 2?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay. All right, yeah. Got to check. And who's this other blonde girl? Who's that with the little backpack girl?
She's a reporter.
Oh.
I can't remember her abilities, but I think she can lockpick.
Oh, very cool. Gotta check this one out. I always thought it was a light gun game, but now I know it's not. So, cool pick. Resident Evil Outbreak. All right, let's go to my next pick.
All these freaks, whatever you want.
If it's not one of us, kill it.
The guys used to laugh when I hit the rifle range at lunch. Ain't so funny now, is it?
I'll see peace back on Earth if I gotta murder every one of these animals with my own bare hands.
Rated M for mature.
So yeah, my number 4 pick, and just for spoilers, all of my picks except one are Xbox 360 games because I didn't have a PS3 back then. I only had a 360. So all my picks except for one are Xbox 360. So this is Left 4 Dead for the Xbox 360. I remember when I first played this, I had never played anything like this game. It's so the zombies are so fast. It's kind of like 28 days later because they're all running at you. If you separate from your team, because I think it's up to 4 players, if you separate, you're kind of like gonna get yourself killed, and then you're gonna get your team killed because you're leaving them without another man. So I love that this game you have to play like a team. You have to get each other's back. You have to, heal each other. You have to, like, as a team, complete the objectives. And yeah, it's such a great game. Have you played this one, Left 4 Dead?
I have never played the Left 4 Deads, but I've always heard about it. Like, Don't Disturb the Witch, I think, is something that's a part of this series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like a witch
but
zombie.
I've always heard about it. I've never played.
This is fun, man. And Stark, they have part 2 is on the Xbox One. You can actually still play it through the Xbox One.
Okay.
Like you can play it online, and I think they just released some.
We'll have to get a team.
Yeah, we'll have to play this one. I know Vince. When I was streaming with Dad Level Podcast, when we were playing Friday the 13th, I think he mentioned him wanting to play this game again. It's a fun one. So if you can get it, we could stream it one
Okay.
night. It's a really really fun one, chaotic, like super. Like you can see like zombies nonstop coming at you, and you have to pick your weapon of choice, a shotty or a sniper. You get like a sidearms or like a pistol, and then you can pick a melee weapon, so you can be chopping them up with a machete or a baseball bat, or it is chaos. And there's like there's different. There's
So
not. Go ahead. Sorry, Stark.
sorry. So is this open world or is it like a linear path that you have to take?
No, it's linear. So every stage has objectives. So on one of the stages, from what I remember, you have to get to the rooftop, and then from there you have to do certain objectives in order to get rescued by the chopper. By the chopper. And then there's another one. There's like always different things, but you're going through a linear path, but you have to be hitting all these objectives in order to make it through. But it gets crazier and crazier. And there's different type of zombies. There isn't just the standard generic running zombies, and they'll throw at the witch, which is the witch. You don't want to bother her. Leave the witch alone. Leave her alone. It's like La Llorona. You just hear her crying and you're like, oh no, the witch is here. So you hear her. There's like I forgot what he's called, but like a Hulk zombie that comes out and he will do damage. There's like I forgot the name of the zombies. There's one that has like a tongue that it'll like throw its tongue out and try to like take you away from the group, pull you away from the group. Yeah, super fun. We'll have to play this one day.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out now. Starkey Plugs, number 4 pick here. So what we're seeing right here, that's Starkey Plugs number 4 pick, is Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the Nintendo Wii. That tells about this pick here.
Yep. So this one was a very interesting pick. It's not one of the more popular Silent Hill games, but you saw it in the trailer, right? This game analyzes you as much as you are playing it, right? So your ending is based on your decisions, and some of the decisions you make is as innocent as painting a coloring page, right? So whatever color you make the wall or the roof or something, it analyzes you based on that.
Oh,
So it's like
multiple endings then, multiple paths.
it's molding a profile about your choices. Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, I like
And
that.
so one thing is, so have you ever played Silent Hill,
I've only played part 2.
the first one?
That part 2, that's it. That's the only one I played it. I never
Okay.
got far on it.
So this is a retelling of the original story, but in the aspect of if you look at Silent Hill as a place that confronts your sins in a sense, uh, this shows why the main character came to Silent Hill. It's not about demons and gods like that. Um, and one thing that was kind of neat in this one is usually in Silent Hill, everything starts turning to that rustic look, and this one everything freezes over, and it's so cool. It's like a neat transition that it's a blast of ice, kind of like Mr. Freeze has blasted everything, and people that you would be talking to are just like frozen into place, and like that feeling of dread comes over you, because the monsters are coming your way.
Yeah, because the cover even has like the girl on the swing, right? And she's frozen on the swing.
Yes, that always like spoke to me, like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, you know what? I missed out on a lot of these early 2000s horror games. Because this is a later 2000s or early 2000s? What year is this one?
This came out This came out in 2009,
Oh, okay, so it's a
but
later one.
there is yeah. There's a more later version that came out for the PlayStation 2, but you're gonna pay a pretty penny to get that copy.
Oh, so the Wii one is a cheaper one.
Yeah, most definitely.
And this, so it's on the Wii.
And plus, you can use the motion controls.
I was gonna ask, do you have to use the motion
Mhm.
controls for the Wii?
So there are chase sequences, and so you have to make quick decisions. So you have to go left or right, and which path you take there may be more monsters, or there may be, just a few there waiting for you, but they're kind of closing in on you during the chase sequences.
Yeah, I know this one. Doesn't it also have a PSP version?
There may be, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I know some of these Silent Hill games are very, very pricey. I have the original PS1. I have and then I have the 360 collection, which has 2 and 3, but I know they just re-released they remastered 2, right? And that just came out for the modern consoles.
Hmm.
So now I'm almost like, maybe I need to get that one once it's on sale. Maybe I'll get that one. So I can maybe play through the original on the PS1, then jump to the remaster, then maybe play the 360 version collection that has part 3. Because I missed out. I'm not going to lie. I missed out on the Silent Hill franchise completely, pretty much.
I'll say this: be careful getting that 360 collection, because I'm pretty sure it's 2 or 3 that when they ported they messed up the controls a little bit, so it's a little harder to play through. So just kind of be careful with those.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would only play 3 just because I'm sure at some point that part 2 remaster will go on sale. So I'll just get it once it's on sale.
Mhm.
But yeah, I missed out on Silent Hill, but I know some people it's almost like sometimes like you're team Resident Evil or team Silent Hill. Like some people think Silent Hill's better, some people think Resident Evil's better. As far as survival horror, what camp are you in? Because so far you've picked Resident Evil and a Silent Hill game.
I knew that question was coming. It is apples and oranges to me, to be honest. Yes, they're both survival horror, but the story couldn't be further apart, Um, Silent Hill is a better story, but the gameplay of Resident Evil is better. I know that's like a neutral answer, but for some reason, the stories of Silent Hill, um, making you face your own torment, your own horror, your own, um, like I said, sin earlier. It's really interesting because I don't know if you know this, but the creator of Pyramid Head only wanted him to stay in Silent Hill 2, right? He was never supposed to be the mascot of the series. And so that was supposed to be James's personal demon coming after him. And so each game you see this person's torment come after him. So that's why I kind of like the story better for Silent Hill versus Resident Evil is something that, like, it gives me goosebumps because, like, that could happen. What if someone's messing with the wrong kind of viral stuff, and then boom, it gets leaked out everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we'll have to check these out. I know they're very expensive, so I feel like, well, at least I got 1 through 3. So at some point I gotta play. I know Ty Lord is a big fan of 1, especially part 1 on the PlayStation 1. So hopefully they remaster all of these, so we don't have to pay like hundreds of dollars to play these if we want to play them. Man, these are expensive, these Silent Hill games. If you're trying to get the original ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So
cool.
can I tell you a little small story?
Yeah, let's hear a story.
I'm gonna tell myself, and this is gonna be on the internet forever. So I own original copy of Silent Hill 1, and I never bought it.
You own a copy of Resident
So
Evil
my
1, but
friend
you never bought it.
traded. I never bought it. So my friend, back in the old days, you traded games like, hey, let me borrow your game, you can borrow one of mine, right?
Yeah.
He borrowed Jedi Power Battles for PlayStation 1. He let me borrow Silent Hill for PlayStation 1. He never gave it back. My game back. I never gave him his game back. So now to this day, I still have your copy of Silent Hill 1 pristine. So it's worth a lot of money, bub.
Hold on. We got a little song to play, your friend. Hold on.
Pendejo. Pendejo.
No offense to your friend, but I think you came out winning on that.
No, he deserved it. I did.
Oh, look who's laughing now, pal. Or what's his name?
That's right. I don't even remember anymore. It was like in 7th grade, 8th grade.
So he kept you. It sounds like you actually wanted your game back, but he just never returned it. And you're like, well, I guess I'm keeping yours. Is that what happened?
Pretty much. That's what happened. Like if you're not gonna give me my game back, I'm keeping yours. I didn't know Silent Hill was supposed to be this huge franchise at the time.
I wonder how much what's the price charting on that Jedi game that he kept. What do you think? Is it like a $5 game, $10 game?
Possible, if I had to guess.
Let's play another one of these for him.
Pendejo. Pendejo.
All right. Very, very cool. Very cool pick. I got to check this one out at some point. Once I can afford it. Or once they remaster it. All right. Let me go now to my number 3 pick here. So at my number 3 pick, I have Plants vs. Zombies. So this is the one game that it wasn't the 360 version that I'm picking. This is actually, remember the iPod? Remember that, Stark? The iPod, back when there was just a device for music and you couldn't make phone calls on it. This is on,
Yep.
This is on the iPod. I oddly enough found an iPod on the street where I used to. It was just in the grass. And I've always had a habit of, if I find something on the street, I'm gonna try to give it back to you. If I can find, I'll call a number on there. If it's a phone, I'll call whatever. If I see your son's name or you wrote son or house or something, I'll call. I've done that in the past with other cell phones. Hey, I have your phone, whatever. This one, for the life of me, I could not find a way to get a hold of this person because it was the iPod. So I couldn't find any contacts. I couldn't make a call to anybody. So I kept an iPod. And one of the games I think the first, maybe only game I bought, I actually paid for, was this game, Plants vs. Zombies. And it's not a terrifying game. You look at the graphics, very cartoony, very cutesy, but it's spooky. It's got zombies. And man, I played this so much. I was addicted to this game. It's what would you call this? Tower defense? It's a tower defense game. Where you're essentially
what that is.
You're essentially protecting your backyard and you're trying to keep zombies away from your, getting into the sliding glass door into your house and eating your brains. And you have these plants, you have pea shooters, you have these big squashes, you have cattails and fungi and all this stuff trying to combat the zombies, and many hours sitting on the toilet playing Plants vs. Zombies on my iPod. Back before, now it's common habit. I don't like going to the restroom without my phone. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm on the toilet, I need
Yeah.
my phone. If I'm sitting there with no phone, I'm like, what am I even doing here? But back in the day, it wasn't as common. But man, I played this so much. I remember going to Japan in 2009 with some of my friends, and this was like my best friend to kill time. It was Plants vs Zombies on the iPod, and yeah, I beat it over there, I think. And the only achievement that eludes me, I'm trying to get it on the 360. It's like a 40 waves of zombies. I can never get past like wave 20 something. But great game. This is my number 3 pick. Any thoughts on this one? Not sure if you've played this one.
I have played this. I'm right there with you. It is addictive, and another fun story. So the first real haunted house I ever worked at, they paid us afterwards, and with my paycheck, I afforded the iPhone 4 and a trip to Atlanta. And this was one of the first games that I played on there. It was Plants vs Zombies, and I absolutely loved that game.
It's so fun.
I haven't played the sequel, but yeah, this one I remember like losing so many hours to this game. And then they had that cute little song, "Don't Want No Zombies on My Lawn," and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
this was a great game.
Let me see if we can hear it in this. There it goes. This little song right here. I need to put this as my alarm clock. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, such a great game. I recommend that anybody that hasn't played Zombies, Plants vs Zombies, play this one. I know they wound up coming out with like a third person shooter, which was fun too. It was fun too, but I wish they would have just kept making sequels of this. I would have kept playing it.
Yeah.
You know, just spruce up the graphics, add some new plants. My favorite was remember there was like if you could get the corn, and then if you like line up, I think like 3 corns in a row, then you can get that corn blaster, like a elote launcher.
Yep.
Shout out to Omega and Mazen. You can get that elote launcher. Yeah, great one. Play this, guys. It's a fun one.
Wasn't there like a barrel that you could set the peas on fire or something like that?
Oh yeah. It was like a trash can that was on fire, and you would put that in front of your pea shooter, and it would just like you could just like like catch the zombies on fire. I used to love the hot peppers. You could put the hot peppers and you can blow up the zombies, and yeah, such a great game. Underrated. Doesn't get enough talked about enough. This was a fun one. This was like the old school, one of the old school mobile games. All right, now we're gonna go to Starkey Plug. Starkey Plug's number 3 pick here.
Resident Evil, more terrifying than ever, comes to Nintendo GameCube. Spine-chilling action. Devastating weapons. Unspeakable evil. Live the nightmare. Resident Evil, exclusively from Capcom. Rated M for mature, only on Nintendo GameCube.
So you have Resident Evil the remaster. Is it called remaster or the remake for the GameCube? Man, you got the remake for
remake.
You got some variety. You've hit us with a PS. What have you hit us with? A PS2 game, then a Wii game, now a GameCube game. So Resident Evil the remake. Some variety there, pal.
So originally this game was, oh gosh, that thing. That right there is the reason why this game scares me.
The snake.
King Snake.
If you all don't know, Stark does not like snakes or serpents or.
Yeah, I'm the Indiana Jones of this community, so. So yeah, like again, I do like the original Resident Evil story, but this amplified it. You know, the graphics are better. originally this was exclusive to a GameCube. It was the only way you could play it. And so they added some more music. They added a new character called Lisa Trevor, which was kind of a tragic story. Have you played this one?
I've never played the remake. I beat the original on the PlayStation 1. But never the... I want to play the remaster, though. I know. I heard it's good.
Yeah, it's good. And let me tell you something. There's these things called Crimson Heads. They will be the bane of your existence. So let's say you shoot a zombie and it dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this game, you have to burn their bodies. Because if they don't, there's a chance it's coming back as a Crimson Head, and it grows these long claws and starts like going feral after you.
Oh, that was just added.
Truly fun.
That was just added to the remake. Like that wasn't in the original.
It was added to the remake, just a little something extra to make it creepy, you know. Yeah, and so like you know, it's still the Resident Evil story that we know, just with a little more, you know, modern. Again, it's still got the tank controls, which again I don't like. But for this, I think it kind of adds to the horror.
Yeah.
Tyler's gonna be like, I hate him.
He's like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Tank controls are awesome. He loves those tank. He can't get enough of those damn tank controls. Let me ask you this: is the GameCube one the same as the one that was re-released for the Xbox One? You know how there's that 2-pack?
Yes. Yeah, it's the same game.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, because I got that. I got the Xbox One 2-pack.
Okay.
Because I've said,
funny thing is,
go ahead, Stark. Go ahead.
The funny thing is, I actually got this because my grandmother felt sorry for me. So I had just had my wisdom teeth taken out, and this back one here was, you know, your teeth normally sit like this.
Yeah.
But this one was sit like this, and they had to cut it out. And because I had to have such bad stitches, she took me while I was still high on the stuff they gave me to GameStop, bought me a GameCube, bought me this so I'd have something to play while I was healing.
What a good.
And so I was very thankful for her generous offer.
That's like grandma of the year right there. So you played
I
this.
know, right?
You played this under like Novocaine, so you were like high while you were playing this.
Yeah. I didn't get far, but I did.
It's like, Stark, for being such a good sport, we're gonna scare the bejesus out of you by buying you this this remaster, Resident Evil remaster. Because I've always said I don't want to play the original PlayStation 1 game. I loved it. It's one of my favorite horror games ever, that original PS1 Resident Evil. But I kind of want to leave the memory as is. I want to leave it like that. But I do want to play this remake because Ty Lord and I think somebody else has told me like, oh no, it's a good one. Like you should play the remake.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like you want to have that nostalgia feeling for the original, but then there's this, and I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, Capcom, if you're watching this, please remake the remake. You know, they remade Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. I want Resident Evil 1 in that style.
Yeah.
If you do that, I'm telling you, I will throw money at the computer.
You'll be like that Futurama meme, the take my money, shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. See, that's the thing that I'm like worried about too. Like, what if I beat this and then they announce, oh, Resident Evil 1 remaster coming next year? I'm gonna be annoyed. Because who knows? They've gone to 2, 3. They did 4 right last year, so maybe they'll go to 5 and will they backtrack? Will they go back to 1? I don't know.
I know some people are begging for Code Veronica to get remastered.
Yeah, I never beat that one either. That's a Dreamcast. I remember I had that on the Dreamcast. Okay, well, cool pick. We're gonna go now to my number 2 pick here.
Isaac, I know this isn't how you wanted to hear from me, but I didn't know who else to trust.
What is going on down there?
God's work. It could change everything.
Those things, I recognize their faces. I've worked with some of them. They were good people, and now they're killing everyone.
People are dying down there. God moves in mysterious ways.
Yeah, so at my number 2 pick, I've got Dead Space on the Xbox 360. Man, this game scared the hell out of me. This was essentially Resident Evil in space. You're Isaac Clarke. You're this dude, and you're just leveling up your guns. You're on the spaceship, and you're dissecting and killing all these necromorphs, and you're kind of trying to find a way off of this base, off of this station. And such a scary game, man. I remember playing this in the dark. That's the only way to play horror games. I'm sorry. If you're playing horror games in the broad daylight with the lights on, you're doing it wrong. You gotta do it in the dark. What says you, Stark?
I agree with you. If you want just a little extra chill, add surround sound.
Yeah, there you go.
I used to, at my grandparents, when I lived with my grandparents, I used to have a surround sound system in my room, and I played Resident Evil 4. It legit sounded like the chainsaw dude was in my bedroom. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
That's how you do it, though. That's how you get the full immersion, right? You might get a little prairie dog or Peking turtle in your trousers, but it's all right. It's all worth it. It's worth the experience. And yeah, this game, I remember, funny enough, I still remember this story. I remember just playing this, and on the weekend, on a Saturday night. At that time, I was single, so I was just living in my own apartment. And Billy, my friend Billy, only lived maybe a 15-minute walk away from me. He lived in another home, and it was like a big party home. It was like a bunch of people that were partying, and he would have parties every weekend. And one time he came over, I think, to borrow something. Well, I think he wanted to borrow Rock Band. They wanted to play it over there. I remember he came over, and I was so immersed in this game. I was like, oh man, I hope Billy doesn't invite me to this party. I hope he doesn't make me socialize because I'm so into this game. And he did it, and then I was like, oh man, what a bastard, didn't even invite me. Yeah, but
there you go. How could you?
It's like I wanted at least the opportunity to say no. But yeah, I still remember that I was like, oh man, please, I'm like so into this game. I don't wanna go to anybody's party right now. But yeah, such a fun one and such a scary one. There's like this regenerating guy in this game that he scared me. Like he's probably one of the scariest enemies. I'm not gonna lie. Part 1 and 2 blend in a lot for me. So I don't know. I could be getting it wrong. You let me know in the live chat or in the comments. Am I wrong? But I think this one had that regenerating guy. There was this guy, this like monster. You chop him up because you have like these plasma cutters and these weapons that you can take apart these necromorph enemies. But with him, you're like, oh, I'll chop your ass up too. And you chop him up and he starts putting himself back together. And you're like, uh-oh, that's not good. and he won't stop chasing you. He's kind of like, I think you might have, did you bring that up or someone brought that up, Mr. X? Like some people don't like the boss that won't stop chasing you. Did you bring that up when we played Friday the 13th?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when I was playing Friday the 13th, it was fun the first time, but now it's become a staple of the Resident Evil remakes,
Mm-hmm.
and so it gets old. Like maybe I'm trying to sit there and enjoy my surroundings. A lot of people put so much effort into making these games look creepy and atmospheric, and you can't enjoy that when there's a 8-foot dude trying to punch you in the fart box. Like it's just not as fun.
Yeah, so I don't remember if this guy's the same where he just won't stop, but I just remember like you go into certain rooms, he will show up again. I don't know if it was already like, if you go into this room, he's gonna come out again through this vent or something. If it was already pre-planned, but yeah, that dude was scary. As
So
you can
here's the
see, he
fun
has,
thing about this.
yeah, as you can see, he has like a plasma cutter, and when you go in there, you want to start taking off their limbs. Like you can take off their limbs, their legs. Sometimes I would go into rooms and there's those necromorphs all over the floor, like dead. So I would go in and start slicing them all up because I was like, I don't want you trying to jump scare me or pop up and get me. And yeah, really fun one. Have you played this one, Dead Space?
I have not, and that's like what you're saying, that fear and dread. Like I'm gonna go ahead and chop you up. Is how I felt about Crimson Heads in the last game, because you go in a room, you see him lying there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna set you on fire. This is it.
Yeah, it's the
And
same
see,
thing.
the thing is, though,
Yeah.
well, here's the thing: in Resident Evil remake, you only have so much lighter fluid, so you can't do it to every zombie. So I'm actually at a rare moment right now with this game because I believe PlayStation 5 just gave us the remastered or remake version of this. So I'm looking forward to playing it. But
Yeah.
you're being enamored with it has me interested in playing it. So like I'm definitely gonna have to try this.
It's fun, man. Yeah, that's the way to go. I do want to play the remaster at some point. But that's the way to go. I really like that. You see the inventory. It's very similar to Resident Evil. You can tell that they stole a lot from Resident Evil. But I like that you can you have these like benches, like these workbenches, and you go there and you're collecting like XP and power nodes and all these little things where you can level up the life meter. You see his spine for that spine thing? That's like his life meter. You can level that up. Mm-hmm. You can do stasis, so you can you can freeze enemies with your hand. Like you can freeze them and then slice and dice them like the slap chop guy. Slap chopping some celery. You have and then the weapons, you can level them up. You can add more power. You can add faster reload. You can add, it's up to you what you want to power up. Yeah, really, really, really fun game. Highly recommend this one.
Is it single player?
Single player, yeah. Part 3 has co-op. Part 3 has co-op. I played that online co-op. Not scary. Still had a fun time, but I think it wasn't scary because it's co-op. So yeah. Me and my friend would come, we had like a pact. All right, you come in with the stasis. You freeze them, and then I'll chop them up. I'll take off all their limbs. So it wasn't even scary because, you have a partner there. Like, okay, we're just going to tag team every enemy. But right here, it's all you. It's all you, and you have all these creepy-ass things coming after you, and you have to see how he's like slicing and dicing them. He's taking off their limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool game. Dead Space. Check it out. Check it out, Starky Plug.
Most definitely.
All right, we're gonna go now to what number are we at? We're going to your number 2 pick here. It's actually not Resident Evil or Silent. Now let's check this one out.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Oh God. Got anything smaller?
All you need is a chainsaw for an arm and a shotgun to be just like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead. Hail to the king.
Hey, isn't that supposed to be a chainsaw?
You want a piece of this? Yeah, I didn't.
Rated M for mature.
Come on, you freak!
Help!
Come on, take it like a man.
Chasing me!
That's a great commercial. I've never seen a commercial with Bruce Campbell. But you have Evil Dead Hail to the King for the PlayStation 1. Tell us about this game.
Mm-hmm. So it is just like like take take two awesome franchises, right? Evil Dead, Resident Evil, and we're gonna put them together to make a PlayStation game that's 2 disc long, right? Um, if you've played Resident Evil, you've played this sort of, except you have a chainsaw, you have your boomstick. You can obviously change to different arm saws, different weapons, but it takes place sort of during the almost. I don't know how to say this. It's almost like the second movie, but retold,
Okay.
and it even takes you. A little spoiler, it takes you further than the cabin. So like you get to see the kind of surrounding area that was around that cabin, and you even get to go back in time to medieval times to fight the Deadites.
Oh, like Army of Darkness, you mean? You can go to the Army of
But
Darkness stage?
just it's like it. Yeah, it's kind of like Army of Darkness, but not that castle, the same castle.
Yeah, we can see here
And
for the audio
it is
listeners.
super hard.
He's not in the cabin. He's like it looks like some field battling these. What are they, skeletons or are they the Deadites with the bow and arrows?
Yeah, yeah, they're those are how do you say this? Campers, because you have to go to like a campground. There was a Boy Scout camp not too far from there, and so they'll shoot you with arrows. You even have to go to like a hillbilly house where this giant pig monster has a key that you need later on. But I'm going to tell you this: they ramped up the difficulty of this game. It can be unfair at times, but if you like a challenge, and Tyler, I'm talking to you, and tank controls, this is your game.
This game was made for you, Ty Lord. It's got 10 controls.
Yeah.
We're looking at the menu
And-
screen for the audio listeners, and it looks like very Resident Evil-y, the menu screen.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing: your chainsaw has to have gas, so that's another thing that takes up an inventory slot to make it just a little bit more survival horror.
Damn, you can't even escape the damn price of the gas in this game. Not even in a video game. You got to worry about gas too.
Yeah. Oh, you do find out. So, are you familiar with the Evil Dead movies?
You know what? You might leave this podcast. I've seen 1 and 2 when I was a teenager, and didn't love them.
Oh,
But I love Army of Darkness. So I know I have to go back and watch 1 and 2. I do have them on Blu-ray. I got to give them another chance.
I understand it's not for everybody. I really do. I'm not like, oh, you have to like this or else. For me, as a person that was growing up to wanting to make movies and skits and stuff like that, I see the charm of this movie. But if you're a fan of Evil Dead, you find out the fate of Nobi's daughter in that game. So, like, in the movie, he gets sucked into the portal, and she gets stabbed by the Kadarian dagger, and that's it. That's you never see her again. But in this game, she is a boss that you have to fight because she is possessed by the Deadites.
Oh, so this is canon. This is canon to the films then.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, Bruce Campbell, that guy's awesome. I think my favorite, to be honest, my favorite Bruce Campbell movies are Army of Darkness and Bubba Hotep. But I need to rewatch Evil Dead 1 and 2. Yeah, Bubba Hotep that movie cracked me up. It was so funny.
That is my guilty pleasure film.
It's
for
so
real.
funny. That thing cracked me up. Yeah, but it's one of those things where I'm like, nah, man. Too many people love these Evil Dead movies. I think it's me, so I need to give him at least another shot. And then if I don't like him, it'll just be like, you know what? It just isn't for me. Like you said, not every movie has to be for everybody, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then again, I like Jason Goes to Hell, so take whatever I say with a grain of sand, you know. Jason Goes to Hell might be my favorite Evil Dead movie. I might have some people unsubscribing after
you're not
that.
Wrong.
All right, yeah, cool pick. Yeah, I might have to check this one out. I think I had part 2, but I never played it. The Boomstick, what's it called? Something Boomstick.
Oh, a fistful of boomstick. Yeah,
I had that one, but I never played it. I
They-
just wound up selling it.
that one actually they changed the style. It became less survival horror and more like fetch quest sort of thing. So it's a take or leave it. And they even made a third one, and I don't own that one. And it has this little mutant baby thing that follows him around, a little baby deadite that helps him.
Oh, that's not the
I don't know.
Boomstick one? I thought that was the Boomstick one, where it has like this little like small guy following you around.
Yeah, that's the third one. That's the third game of this series.
Ah, okay. But so would you pick this one over all those 3 games, like including this game and those other 2 games? You would take this one?
I do, only because I feel like you could lace this in with the actual movies and still be there. Like you're playing the movie.
So is this a sequel then? Would you say this is after part 2?
I would say yes. Yes, I would say I'd even say maybe after Army of Darkness, if I had to guess, only because again, for some reason he goes back to the cabin with a girl and everything just falls apart.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I like your picks, man. You've really been across like all these different consoles. Like I said, you've done PS2, you've done Wii, you've done GameCube, and now you're doing PS1. That's crazy.
I appreciate it.
Weird, wild stuff. And it's not gonna end there. He's gonna have his number 1. I'm not gonna give it away yet, but it's on another console that isn't any of his previous picks. So that's some variety right there. All right, let me go now to what is it now? Is it my number 1 pick? Hold on, are we at number 1 already? Let me check really quick. Yeah, let's go to my number pick now.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing.
Yeah, so for me, it's got to be BioShock, man. It's got to be BioShock.
Okay.
On the Xbox 360, I don't got the variety like Starkey Plug. I'm not gonna lie. I think all I was playing, once I got the 360, that's all I had. That's all I would play. The Xbox 360. I think I modded my OG Xbox, and I would just use it to play like MAME and arcade games, and that's what my Xbox became the OG Xbox. That might have been like the height of my gaming outside of right now. It was the Xbox 360 because I was single, living in my apartment. Just what did I have in my 20s? What does a guy do? Like, I mean, there's other stuff we can do, but we won't get into that right now. But outside of that, I was playing I was playing a lot of Xbox 360, staying up till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., just playing video games all night. And this was a game that really, I would say this is still my favorite video game of all time. No other game has made me feel the way this game has made me feel. And I don't think this is technically considered like a straight horror game. I think it's a thriller with some horror, with mystery, with some action. But this game scared the hell out of me more than any other game I played. Maybe Dead Space might be right there, but this one, there was just like that mystery. You didn't know what was going on in that underwater world. You would hear the big daddies in the background walking around, and you're like, I don't want any part of those big daddies. Like, and then you could just walk around them, sneak around them, and you're like, okay, I don't need to fight them. And then you find out, oh no, you got to start fighting those big daddies. I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to fight that thing. It's like fighting like the Juggernaut, right? From X-Men.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, really, really scary. Have you played this game, BioShock?
I have not. I
No,
feel bad
really.
because a lot of these games are fan favorites, and here's the thing: I don't have nothing against Xbox. I just when the 360 came out, I wasn't buying for that. I was buying for PlayStation 2, unfortunately.
So what did you own around this time? Late, like what do they call that? The aughts? Is that what it's called? The aughts? Is that the term?
I guess.
What were you playing around that time?
What year was this?
This was, I think, 2007, I think.
2007. I would probably still be playing. If I had to guess, it would probably be either the Outbreak games or the Legacy of Kain games, maybe. Because I wanted to put the Legacy of Kain games on here, but I was worried, like, what does some people consider horror? What does some people consider spooky? You know, some people can put vampires on there, but I don't see them as horror per se. You know, but that's probably what I'd be playing around that time. Is your Soul River 2, Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, something like that.
Okay,
You know,
but you didn't have a 360. You had a PS2.
I did have no, I did have a 360. Don't get me wrong, I did have it. I had two, and I got the Red Ring of Death twice, and I just said I'm not going to do it again.
The dreaded red ring of death. Yeah, yeah. I get you. We all went through that at some point. Yeah, but this is one I would recommend because they made the remaster, the HD remaster. It's a really fun game. A lot of mystery. I think you would like it because there's a lot of mystery in it. It's not straight horror, and the big daddies don't follow you like Mr. X. You just see them like wandering around the world as you're trying to figure out like what the hell's going on here, and you know, and it has like a leveling up system. So one of the hands is for ability, so you can do like stasis, telekinesis with the one hand. It's like a power hand. You can freeze, you can electrocute, you can pick what abilities you want for your hand. And then with the other hand, you have your gun. So it's kind of cool because you're using both hands to kill enemies. One is like telekinesis, you're grabbing stuff and throwing it at them, and the other one you have your gun, whatever gun you want to level up. And it's really, really fun. And it's one of those where you're kind of picking a path too. Kind of like how you brought up with Shattered Memories. Yeah. You're picking a path. Like you're picking I would highly recommend it. I love this game, BioShock. Play it, Starky Plague, is what I'm telling you.
I will. I like some of these you've recommended. I'm like, I really want to try these now.
Yeah, it's
I
just
hope they're not expensive. That's the only catch.
Now you have an Xbox One, right? So I'm sure the collection is like cheap, really cheap. Even on, I think they released it for the PS5 too. Or maybe not PS5 for the PS4, but I think all PS4 discs play on the PS5, right?
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but I'm sure the collection's cheap. But I also understand, we're older now. It's a little bit harder now to like play all these games we want to play like we did in our 20s and our teens, right? It's not as easy as it was. So just throw it. I'm just saying, just consider it. Throw it in the queue, in the back of the queue.
Oh, most definitely. If you saw my backlog, you'd think I was insane because I'll buy games, put it on the shelf. It's going to sit there for a while.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even have that many video games. Like I have these two little shelves, but I'm never going to play through all those damn games. Like never. I want to, but I don't think I'll ever have the time. Yeah, but that's my number one. That's like my number one favorite spooky game, but probably my favorite. I think it definitely my favorite video game of all time. But let's check out now. Starkey Plugs all-time favorite, not all-time favorite spooky game from 2000 to 2009. Let's check it out.
You promised you'd take me there again someday.
James.
To our special place. Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2. Rated M for mature. For PlayStation 2. From Konami.
Stark, you've got Silent Hill 2. But it wasn't, that commercial said PlayStation 2. But you're picking this for the OG Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why the OG Xbox in the first place?
Because that's the system I had it for.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I was trying to remember why I got it. Because it was cheaper. It was cheaper to get for Xbox. So if you would have asked me 13 years ago, this game would have not made the list, right? I only recently started appreciating this game a little bit more story-wise, right? Again, it was a game I played as a kid, and when I played survival horror games like this, my sister would look up a game facts, right? And so there was a deal. So I got a laptop computer, and I said, you can play on the computer, but just have that in the background. So if I get stuck, you can look it up and, kind of help me, guide me at least a little bit, So this one was just something I played, beat, and never thought twice about it, right? But the story for this one is really what made me drive this one to number one. Because again, if you go back and listen to what I said at the beginning, Silent Hill has better stories than Resident Evil. Resident Evil has better gameplay, right? And this story is about a man who is being haunted by his wife. And I don't want to spoil it because there's so many twists, there's so many turns, and I feel like I haven't played the remake yet, but I have high hopes for it, that it's going to be just as awesome as the original. And there's multiple endings, and simple things that you do can change that ending, right? As simple as listening to a conversation or not checking on somebody. There's a certain character, if you don't check on them, you can get a worse ending. And I do feel like this is true survival horror because it's not a run and gun. Sometimes the only weapon you have is a pipe or a knife or something, And there's so many scary moments. And here's the thing: something Silent Hill also has over Resident Evil. It's a close call, but I feel like they have better music. And as someone who has the TV on in the background when he sleeps, there's a channel, I don't remember the name of it, but it has a list and it goes through like 24 hours live all the time of the Silent Hill, different music from Silent Hill, and it's like it's haunting. It's very beautiful if you're into that goth aesthetic almost, and it's just amazing. And the gameplay, the story, when you love somebody, what are you willing to do for them?
Yeah, I remember playing this one. I think I might have played it on, I don't remember if it was PS2 or Xbox. And I know you start off kind of like you drive up to like kind of like a parking lot, and there's like a restroom, right? Like a rest stop, kind of, and it's very foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember the ambiance was really, really scary. You know why I stopped playing this game? I got really annoyed by one of the
What is
puzzles.
that?
I got annoyed by a puzzle. It was the puzzle where you have to
Oh.
drop the orange soda down a chute.
Mm-hmm.
I was like stuck there for hours and hours trying to figure out like, okay, what do I do here? How do I solve this puzzle? You know, I played Resident Evil, so I was like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. It'll be like a crest or something I need to do. And when I found out I needed to
Yeah.
grab a 6-pack of orange soda to dislodge whatever was in the chute or whatever, I was like, that's it, brother. I'm out of here. I stopped playing it out of spite. I got so mad that was how I had to solve the puzzle. But
That's funny.
it sounds like I missed out though, because a lot of people say that this is the best Silent Hill.
A lot of people do say that, and the thing is, like I said, if you would have asked me 13 years ago, I would have said 1 and 3. That would have been my two favorites. But this one is a man being tormented by his own, his own sin, his own torture, and depending on certain choices you make, is how you deal with it. Because this was the first one that at least that I remember that has multiple endings where it's either good or really really bad, and so it made you try harder to get the better endings. And then
Yeah.
of course there's the secret endings, the alien and the dog and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that had all these alternate endings too. So I gotta replay this one. I do now that I know that it's a 6-pack of orange soda to dislodge whatever that trash is in there. Now
If I remember correctly,
yeah.
sorry,
Go ahead, sir.
if I remember, there's 6 different endings.
6 different endings. Damn.
If I remember, yeah, and again, it's like it all depends on things you do during the game. And I could be wrong about that, but that's how I remember it. Like there's a hallway where you listen to a conversation. If you listen to the entire conversation, you get the bad ending. If you there's a person that follows you around. If you check on her, you get one ending. If you don't check on her, you get a different ending. Um, just little nuances like that. Um, make the game interesting to me because then you want to play like what if I don't check on her, what if I do check on her this time, what if I do stay in the hallway and hear the entire conversation, what if I just rush through it to the final boss. um you push yourself.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's why I'm glad that you're on here, because I feel like you're teaching me about some of these games that I kind of gave up on or never gave a chance. So it's very cool that that I don't think we have any, we didn't cross pollinate
Mm-mm.
or whatever the term we want to use. We didn't have any of the same picks at all.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, now that we've gone through
And
our
like
list, yeah, go ahead, Stark.
well, like you said, you also introduced me to at least 3 games that I'm definitely going to be checking out within the next couple of months.
Yeah, for sure. What from what I see from our list, let's see. You have 2 Silent
Mm-hmm.
Hill, you have 2 Resident Evils, and then you have Evil Dead. I have one
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil, so I think out of 10, 30% of the game are 30% of the games are Resident Evil, which says a lot. The impact of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of variety, so that says a lot about what the PS2 was doing, the PS1, the OG Xbox 360. There was a lot of horror game bangers in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and there's games that I sat there and I wrestled with putting on here too, because when you narrow it down to just 5, you have to ask yourself, why does this make the list and another game doesn't make the list, right? Like, did you know that there are 3 games that's based off the Blair Witch Saga?
No, in the early 2000s? I didn't know that.
Well, like as soon as the movie came out, it went kind of viral, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they made 3 PC games.
Oh,
They're not
PC.
good games, but they're kind of creepy. Yeah, they're kind of creepy. And then, the PlayStation 1 came out, and so that one is fun, but these other ones, the lore that is the Blair Witch, it kind of progressed a little bit, like Coffin Rock or that one witch or the guy that took people out and killed them. It kind of, and I was like, man, do I put those on there? Um, I don't know. Like these games, I guess to me, it's kind of like my favorite movies. If I was to have a day off, let's say it's a Saturday, and I want to play something, these five are probably going to be uh, in this time frame range, the ones I play.
Yeah, for sure. These are the top ones for sure. Same with me. I just
Hmm.
thought about which are the ones that I would want to play these again someday. Even though, there's remasters now, so I'd probably play the remasters now. But you bring up a good point. There's some that didn't make the list, so let's talk about some of those. Was there one that you're like, damn, I couldn't put this one on the list, but it was there. It was right there.
There's a game called Fear, F.E.A.R or R dot,
Hmm.
and I remember my friend let me borrow that, and I did give it back, just so y'all know. And like the first 5 minutes, I ended up like jumping. You know, um, those of y'all who come to my streams know that when I play scary games, I crank up the volume on my headphones as loud as it goes because I want that shock, that fear. So when something happens, all the screams you see, all the jumps you see me do, that's as real and natural as it gets because I want to be scared with y'all. And so that game has this little girl that keeps popping up and all these other kind of horror type things, and those were fun.
Yeah,
Like I said, I wish the Legacy of Kain would have been put on here. Great story, not scary, but just a great, beautiful story.
that's a vampire one, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, I had also honorable
It's one of
mention
those.
were the fear ones too. But I honestly, if you were to ask me what's the difference between the three of them, I couldn't tell you. I just remember they were like fun and scary.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like my friend was like, "Oh, you need to try this," and I'm like, "Okay, we'll do it." And I remember it was like right before I was about to go to bed, and I'm trying it out, and I about jumped out of my seat. With just things popping up at you.
Yeah, and that one was creative because it was a first person shooter. I don't know if that was one of the first ones to do that, but it was a first person shooter that was a horror game, like a scary game.
Hmm.
Because right, usually horror was like third person. Third person. It was. I don't remember
Yeah.
any other ones doing first person at that time.
What's funny is when I was originally when you reached out to me to make this list, I was thinking about all these games. Oh, this one, this one, this one, and it missed by like a year or two. And I'm like, oh, come on, like the House of the Dead games and stuff like that.
Oh, like they were
Did you
like
ever play those
nineties,
in the arcade?
like the nineties ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played
Hmm.
for sure. House of the Dead, the arcade ones. Those are fun. Yeah, those are super fun. Shooting games are always fun at the arcades.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even Revolution X with
Like
the Aerosmith one. Even that one I enjoyed.
did you ever watch Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? The
Mm-mm.
one with
De Niro,
Robert
right?
De Niro?
Yeah, no, I never saw it.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It's okay. It's okay. But it reminded me when I was thinking of this list, I almost put that on here as a joke because my grandparents used to go to the casino all the time, and I was too young to go to the casino, so they put me in this thing called Kids Quest, and Kids Quest was a place that had a bunch of arcade games. You give you $10, you can pretty much play the entire night, and so there was a pinball game of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and for some reason, as a kid, that image of him as Frankenstein's monster was terrifying to me, and I almost put that on there just because it didn't meet the time frame, but just because that picture alone was enough to scare me. I would walk by staring at like, no, you keep your distance from me.
That's funny. I'll throw in their Dead Space too as an honorable mention, but just like the Fear games, they run together to me. 1 and 2. I don't. They're kind of like two and one. Like I don't remember the difference between them. I just remember liking both of them. The only reason I remember 3 is because that one was co-op. That one had online co-op. But early 2000s.
Yeah, and that's why.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's why I put Outbreak File 1 and 2 when I originally was thinking about this list, because there are differences in 1 and 2, but with 2, it seems like they took the criticisms and made it better. But if you're not careful, just like you said, you can get the two interchangeably mixed up. Like maybe a scenario that was you thought was on 1 is on 2, right? Because I believe in 2, you get to take control of a tyrant to get through one of the Resident Evil labs or the Umbrella labs.
That sounds
and I
fun.
thought that was a fun little thing.
That sounds cool. Instead of running away from the tyrant, you can be the tyrant. That sounds cool. And I think the early 2000s, man, I wish I would have played horror games in the early 2000s, because like all my picks were 360, but it was because I think early 2000s, I think I was just playing sports games, Halo. I think that was it. I'm sad I missed out on like the cool ones, especially the cool one, because that's like $1,000 game now. I missed out on the cool ones and the Siren and what is the other one, Obscure, and all those games. They were not on my radar, and I was a big horror movie fan at the time. I don't know why I never played them. Yeah, did you play all those like Obscure?
It's
or
hard
one?
to keep up. Again, those are like during that time I wasn't buying as much as I should have. Like I graduated high school in 2003, so anytime after that, struggling college student, you may pick up a game here or there on the cheap, but as buying brand new, it was few and far between.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because we're around the same age. You're in your early 40s like me, so maybe it was that time. We're out doing stuff and having a good time, and maybe some of that, maybe some of this, some of that. Who knows? We were in the twilight of our life. Maybe we're just having a little too much fun. So, but because I feel like I missed out on that, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have played those games. I wish I would have played Kuon and Obscure and Siren and what's the other one, Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose and all those. I missed out on all those games, unfortunately. One we left out was Resident Evil 4. I've never played it, so I can't put it on the list.
Resident Evil 4 was such a drastic difference than the other Resident Evils. It's action game. It's still good. It's still fun. But if you're looking for survival horror, that's not the one. That's not the one you want.
So that's
it's kind of like Resident Evil 5.
Yeah, so that's why you don't have that one on the list, because it didn't meet your standards as far as scaring you. It didn't scare you.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
I sometimes forgot that it was a horror game.
Yeah, it's more action because I missed out on that one, but I played Village, and I've heard people say, "Oh, Village is very similar to 4." And Village I didn't think was very scary outside of like the first 30 minutes of the game, and then that tall woman that's chasing you. Outside of that, I didn't find the game that scary because you have like an AR and stuff. You have like all these cool weapons, right?
Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu is the only Resident Evil character that can chase me all the time, every time.
We'll give her one of these two. Yeah, I saw a lot of memes of what was her name? Lady what?
Dimitrescu.
I saw a lot of memes of her when the game came out.
Oh yeah,
a lot of inappropriate
like,
memes.
she was like, well, you have to be careful now because the remakes of the Resident Evils, people are like making nude mods for it. You know, like one of the funniest things I ever saw was Mr. X coming in, and he's just wearing nothing but a umbrella speedo. You know, it's a black speedo with an umbrella logo on it, and like, yeah, like, be careful.
Oh man! All right. Well, that we came up with our list. No crossovers at all. So I actually like that when that happens, when there's no crossovers. That's pretty interesting. But Stark, it's tradition around these parts. Before I let you go, to play a little trivia game. Before I let you go, so we're gonna take a commercial break, play a little trivia game, and we'll wrap the show up. Okay? That sound good?
All right.
Here we go. Let's take a little quick commercial break, though.
They are the two greatest champions the world has ever seen. All who witness their power fear them. All who try to stop them fail. Now, at last, they will face each other in the fight of the century, in the showdown of the millennium.
Miss me?
Freddy versus Jason.
Little Freddy versus Jason, because Stark, your trivia game is, I'm going to ask you 10 questions from this Freddy versus Jason trivia game. And let's see how many out of 10 you can get right.
Uh-oh.
Let's say for you to pass, you consider yourself a big Nightmare and Friday the 13th fan? Like as far as trivia?
I would say more on the Friday 13th side, but yeah, let's try this.
Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you the 10 questions, and let's set the bar. I think we'll set the bar at, you got to get 6 right. Is that okay? That work for you?
That's fair.
All right. Get 6. That's still, it's like a D, but it's still passing. Still passing in public schools, at least. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start you off with an easy one. True or false? Christopher Marquette, who portrayed Linderman in Freddy vs. Jason, was a regular on the television show Joan of Arcadia.
I'm gonna say false.
So that's what you hear. Sorry for blowing out your eardrums, but that's what you hear when you got it wrong. So that it was actually true.
All right.
I guess he was a regular.
Wow. Okay.
Next question. True or false? Freddy vs. Jason only took place at Camp Crystal Lake.
False.
You're on the board. So that's if you get it correct, you'll hear the old Alfred Hitchcock theme.
Okay.
Just because I was too lazy to change the correct and wrong buzzers from last month's episode. All right. Next question. Freddy vs. Jason was released in what year? A, 2000, B, 2001, C, 2002, D, 2003.
2002.
It was actually 2003. All right, next one. You were off by a year, pal. All right, true or false? In Freddy vs. Jason, the characters alternate between dreams and reality.
Yeah, true.
All right, so you've got 2 right, 2 wrong. Next one. In Freddy vs. Jason, how did Laurie finish off Freddy? A, decapitation. B, drowning. C, asphyxiation, easy for me to say. Or D, stabbing.
She cut his head off. Jason stabbed him with his own arm.
That is correct. He got his head chopped off by the girl. I think she like tells him like, "Welcome to my world, bitch," or something like that. Finish this.
Yeah, my nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, right? Finish this Freddy line from Freddy versus Jason. Your eyes say no, no.
But your mouth says yes, yes.
Hold on. All right. Yeah, you're so far you've got 5. You've got 5. Yeah, 1, 2. Oh, I don't even know how to do basic math. You got 4. So you only need 2 more. You got 4 more questions. According to Freddy and Freddy vs. Jason, what gave him power? A, fresh souls. B, blood. C, fear. D, electricity.
It's fear, because the first time he tried to kill someone, he couldn't because they weren't afraid enough. They had forgotten about him.
This is an interesting one here. You're 1 away. You're 1 away. 3 questions left. In Freddy vs. Jason, what was the color of Gibbs' baseball cap? A, green.
Oh my God.
B, red. C, black. D, blue.
Gibbs.
I think it was the Ginger Snaps girl. Isn't that Gibbs?
Mm-hmm. They're at the port. No. It's blue. Right?
It was red. Red.
Oh,
so you just need one of these next 2 right. In Freddy vs. Jason, where did Jason commit the most murders? A, on Elm Street. B, at Camp Crystal Lake. C, at the Springwood High School. D, at the rave.
The rave, right?
Yeah.
Just killing people left and right.
Yeah. You're a winner. I'll still ask you the last one just for fun. Okay, okay, in Freddy vs. Jason, which character was killed by a double impalement with a long pipe? A, Blake. B, Gibb. C, Freeberg. D, Shaq. In Freddy vs. Jason, which character was killed by a double impalement with a long pipe?
I honestly do not know.
It was C? Let me see what C. It was Gibb. Actually, Gib. I don't remember the characters' names outside of Linderman. That's only for some reason I just remember Linderman. That's the only guy I remember. Just because Kelly Rowland always has his name. Oh, Linderman. It's the only reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's that. Remember when they're in the cornfield and he like shoves a pipe into the raver's back and also impales the girl while he's trying to gets him. I just didn't remember her name either.
Yeah, I didn't remember the name, and that's when Freddy starts he's like a dog, it won't stop.
yeah, exactly. Damn, but you are a winner. Congratulations. You got 6 out of 10.
Thank you.
So we're gonna take our last commercial break and come back and wrap things up here.
Finding the right costume driving you batty? Drive over to Big Kmart's House Halloween sale, and you'll have dozens of the latest and greatest costumes to choose from. Kids' costumes are on sale, as low as $4.99. Plus, name your treat and presto, you get fun-sized bags for just $1.88. It's all here at Big Kmart's House Halloween sale. All its savings so good it's scary. So hurry right in.
Remember that, Stark. It's all at Kmart. All your Halloween needs. So make sure to drive down to your local Kmart. Get that Halloween stuff.
I miss Kmart.
Oh, that's right. Kmart's not around anymore. Never mind. Yeah, thanks, Stark, for coming on. It's been awesome having you on. It's been a long time coming. It's cool to have you on and talk some spooky stuff. You know, I think sometimes when we're gaming and we're doing stuff on our own YouTube channel, sometimes we don't get time, right, to really chat with each other. So this was awesome to have you on so we could chit chat. Why don't you let the people know where they can find you?
You can find me at the Sanctum Starktorum on YouTube. I try to stream every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central Time. So you ever have a moment, come check us out. And on Mondays, sometimes you may see an after hours video.
There you go. And so this episode's gonna drop first week of October. Will the new radio drama episode drop by then, or when is the new episode dropping?
The second radio drama episode should be the second week of November.
Second week. Okay. All right. So keep an eye out. I know you had Omega. I was on there. I think Triforce also from YouTube. Omega Ace Gaming. You had your wife. You know your wife. She. I think she should have got the Oscar. I think for her performance for Lizzie Sweets.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So and also, I think the people on YouTube will know. But if you don't know, Stark has done a lot of art for me. So if you see like the Jason shark, that's Stark. If you see the Leatherface shark, that's Stark. He's done a lot of art for me. So thank you again for that too, because that's like high quality art right there. And you know what I like. You do like the horror ones. You do the wrestling ones for me too. So yeah, thanks again for that, Stark.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, really, really fun time. As for me, you can leave me a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you're listening on the audio end. I have merch at retrotiburon.com. There's t-shirts. Some of the art's from Starky Plug right here. There's a Retro Wave logo art. There's also some of the ones he's done for me. If you're listening on the audio end, you can sub to me on YouTube at Retro Tiburon. I do gaming live streams right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes Stark joins me on Fridays. We recently we played Friday the 13th, the game. So sad that's gonna be gone forever, but there will be other horror games to play. I do swap meet hunt videos every Monday, but yeah. Thanks again, Stark. I have a tradition here of people giving like a piece of advice, especially people that have only been on here once. Can you give the people out there, like whoever's listening, a piece of advice, something that maybe somebody told you when you were a kid or growing up? Like, what's a piece of advice you want to give out there to the world?
Let's see. Dare to be different. is some advice that I've always kind of held true because, in a world full of just the same old, you're not going to stick out. So dare to take that chance, dare to be different, focus on your goals, and you'll succeed.
There you go. Stop being a goddamn carbon copy of somebody else, right, Stark? That's what you're trying to tell these.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to the man, all right? We're out of here. See you guys later. See you guys on the other side.
Bye.